Breaking news this morning, Vice President Kamala Harris has chosen her running mate. He is Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. KTLA's Annie Rose Ramos live now in the newsroom with the details on that for us. Annie Rose, good morning.
Hi, Jess. Good morning to you. That's exactly right. Vice President Kamala Harris has made her decision, picking Minnesota Governor Tim Walz to be her running mate. Last night, she had not made a decision, but things looking very different this morning. And new this hour, we're hearing from Harris herself. Her campaign posting this message to social media, saying of Walz, quote, his convictions on fighting for middle-class families runs deep, going on to post about how Walz enlisted in the National Guard, serving 24 years, and as governor, making Minnesota the first state in the country to pass a law providing constitutional abortion protections after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. All right, you're looking at images outside Governor Walz's home in St. Paul, Minnesota from moments ago. A motorcade leaving the house as supporters and neighbors stood outside cheering and honking their car horns from the street. That motorcade then heading to the airport in Minnesota, where we saw his team boarding a plane heading from Minnesota to Philadelphia for a rally this evening alongside Harris. Now, Tim Walz, he is 60 years old, emerging as a dark horse contender for the Democratic ticket. Harris choosing him over other high-profile names like Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro and Arizona Senator Mark Kelly. And new into our newsroom this hour, we're getting a statement from Shapiro himself, who says following conversations with Harris about being her possible running mate, grateful to learn more about her campaign, but saying, quote, his role as governor is a 4-year term and his work is far from finished. Adding he'll be traveling his state to campaign for Harris over the next 90 days. Waltz, a former high school teacher and football coach, has been governor since 2018. He does not hail from a traditional battleground state, but his credentials as a veteran, as a gun owner who previously represented a Republican-leaning and rural part of Minnesota in Congress could, and I want to repeat, could help Harris appeal to working-class white voters who have turned away from Democrats and help fuel Donald Trump's rise.
I think this selection of Tim Waltz is a bit of a wild card by Kamala Harris. I know that the Republicans that I've spoken to are much more happy with Tim Waltz as opposed to the governor of Pennsylvania or the senator from Arizona. That being said, Tim Waltz is going to create some problems for Republicans. I think it's an interesting choice.
And new this hour, we're hearing from former President Donald Trump's team, calling the Harris-Walz ticket, quote, weak, failed, and dangerously liberal, releasing this new campaign video along with that statement saying Americans will reject both Harris and Walz. Other Republicans reacting this morning to Governor Walz as Harris's VP pick. Take a listen.
We do not need an America that represents the failed policies of San Francisco or the failed policies of Minneapolis. We do not need to see poop on the street and cities burning down. That is not a prescription for America to work its way back.
All right, Harris and her VP pick, Governor Walz, will be taking the stage side by side later today in the state of Pennsylvania. It will be the start of a multi-day tour through several battleground states. Also in Pennsylvania today, J.D. Vance appearing in Philly as well on behalf of the Trump campaign.